I am in Oklahoma City. It's overcast, cloudy. Hi, honey. So good to see you. Um, I don't know what the weather was doing where you were last night, but here in Oklahoma City, it was insane. The lightning was uh, insane. I tried to get a picture of it, or a video of it, but it didn't work. But the lightning was going this way. We're talking today with Susan Williams, a woman making history on this international day of Women's Day, International Women's Day. Okay, I see you. Let's see. Joined. How do I get you to join in here? Add. Susan, I think I just added you. Hopefully you'll pop up here in a minute. We're talking with Susan Williams. Yes, we love her story. Do you see how puffy my eyes are? Never had allergies a day in my life until I turned 50. And now it's like, ugh, I got a headache. My eyes are puffy. So I'm drinking some really strong coffee. Okay, sent a request to join. View request. Go live. Okay. And I think we have liftoff. Good morning. We're making history on this International Women's Day. Hello, lovely.
Hey, can you see me?
Yeah, you're glowing. You're glowing.
A little blurry.
Yeah.
I gotta put on my glasses to see how to fix this.
Welcome to my world. I have my contacts in today. Sometimes if you just like rub the front of your camera, sometimes.
There we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can see you. That's great. How are you?
I'm amazing. Oh, it worked. I love it.
Yeah,
How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad when Katrina put this together because, we've been following you. I'm big fans from afar and the amazing work that you're doing. Let me just give our friends and followers a little introduction about you so they'll know what the heck we're talking about today. As we know, it's International Women's Day. It's based on the women's rights movements. This is a day in history to focus on and raise awareness about issues of gender equality, reproductive rights, and violence and abuse against women. And your specialty speaks to and serves the transgender community, which really covers all of those areas so well. A very rich dynamic there in a very challenging way. Now, your mission hold on, Susan, I got notes everywhere. You're the founder and executive director at Transformation Project. You also have, that was in 2019, and then you have, it's an advocacy network in 2020. Are there two different
organizations? Yep.
So Transformation Projects out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and Susan Williams here, the founder of the Transformation Project. Now you're a former, and I love to brag about this, Free Mom Hug State Chapter leader. And I want to know, first of all, thank you for being here. You're just beautiful and glowing. How did you first learn about, take me through the history here of Susan Williams. How did you first get plugged into Free Mom Hugs, and how did it get you to where you are now? Not all about Free Mom Hugs, but just your journey.
Well, thank you for meeting with me today. This is such a huge honor. Happy International Women's Day. And I will just start by saying trans women are women, period.
Period.
So happy International Women's Day to all women. Yeah, so I heard about Free Mom Hugs online. I just probably saw posts on Facebook and read about you and really connected with your story. I grabbed your book, read your book, and decided, you know what, this needs to happen in South Dakota. There are so many families who are not accepting or affirming of their queer youth. And so really wanted to just kind of like get this going. And I remember the first time we like, it was like before you had like buttons and marketing and all the things, and we just like ordered something off of Etsy, and they were these huge buttons, and we stood there at Pride with Free Mom Hug signs, and there were just a few of us, and it was the most moving thing in the entire world to be able to just offer that warm embrace and somebody to talk with at that Pride. And I was kind of new to the whole movement. You know, when my son came out 7 years ago as transgender, I had never really even been to a Pride. I was not somebody that you would have called an ally. I think like in my heart, I was moving towards that. And my son really helped me to get there. I had, you know, we, just like you, part of the evangelical church. You know, I used to be a children's ministries director. When my son came out as trans, our church really did split down the middle. Half the people were like, you know, we don't know what to do with this. This is not, no. And then others were like, yeah, we kind of get it, but we don't really get it, but we love you. And there were a few, you know, maybe I would say like 8 or 10 people that were like, yeah, you're doing the right thing. You know, God is with you in this. We're here to support you. And so really, you know, I needed a hug.
Yeah.
And so hugs are just, I'm just so thrilled that that Free Mom Hugs is around. And I feel like,
Me too.
you know, as moms, we have we want our kids to be happy, healthy, loved, and affirmed, and we see how people marginalize this you know, this community, and we just want to, you know, embrace them all, right? And so yeah, I started off as a state leader and kind of brought the whole thing to Sioux Falls and to South Dakota. And as we grew and as people across the country started to embrace the Free Mom Hugs movement, I brought in several other people. And so we have an amazing leader right now. Kirsten is leading South Dakota, and she's incredible. And I've moved on to starting my own nonprofit in 2019, like you had shared. And that nonprofit really, what we want to do is support the trans community in South Dakota, but also to like educate the state on gender identity. And that's something, you know, when my son came out, I had never met a transgender person before, neither had he. And we didn't have any resources. The closest support group was 4 hours away in another state. And so I just decided to create an organization that would give everything that we didn't have to those families and to those individuals that were searching for resources. So really, we're here to support and empower them, whether it is, you know, helping our trans youth to travel across state lines to get the gender affirming care that they need and deserve, or if it's helping somebody to get a name change, or helping them find housing if they're unhoused at the moment. And so we also provide a lot of programming, and we just opened the only LGBTQ plus and Two-Spirit center in the entire state. It's called the Prism Community Center.
Okay.
And this is
Prism community.
Prism
We're gonna,
Community
yeah, we're
Center.
gonna get
Yes.
all that in there in the
Yes,
information.
it's so exciting. Now we have a place for, for our staff to work, but also for the queer community to come in and just feel that. I had somebody tell me that they walked in and felt like it was a big warm hug, and that's exactly what
Oh,
we wanted. So
yes.
we have this whole center now. We also have Marty's Closet, which was started by one of the trans women in our community that was on my board. She started to see a need for people in transition with clothing. And so she had this 2-bedroom apartment and decided to like fill it with donated clothes and have people come
Oh,
in and pick things out. It was so amazing. So this was way back in like 2019. And it got to be so big that it filled up her entire apartment. Even like the bathroom like had racks in it and everything. And so we were like, we got to get this out. We got to find a place. So we found a place to house Marty's Closet. And so now we have that, in our center. People make an appointment. They get a 2-hour appointment with a styling session and a stylist that
oh,
helps them find clothing that affirms their gender but
yes.
also looks great on them, and then they go home with a week's worth of clothes.
I
And
love that.
it's so fabulous
Yes.
to just see the difference of like they walk in just kind of apprehensive and like, oh, I don't really know, and then they walk out just super confident. So it's really
Wow.
fun. The kind of work that we're doing is life
You can
changing, and I
see
wish,
it. Yes.
yeah, I wish that everybody could have this for sure.
Yeah, I love that you maybe when you first found Free Mom Hugs, if I'm following your
Yeah.
journey correctly, maybe your child just started,
Yep.
talking about that or
Hmm.
expressing themselves, and then you got plugged into and met other moms. I don't know if you joined Liz's group, the Mama Bear
Yep.
groups, and found
Sure
some
did.
support and
Yep.
resources there. In fact, I just got off the phone with her. She says hello and she loves you and
Oh,
so proud
she's
of
so
you.
sweet. Oh,
Yes.
I love
And
it.
but to be able to find out, number one, that you have this beautiful child that you've never, encountered, like you said,
Yeah.
a transgender person, and neither had they at that time.
Hmm.
And so just to see a need, and I love what you said about just doing what you wish someone would have done when you were trying to figure it out. Isn't
Yeah.
that what it's all about? It's like we're all just doing things that we wish someone would have done to, like, with your church split. I mean, how are things like that now? Can we just kind of go back to that for a
Yeah.
minute? Because I think you go through these feelings of feeling, just so devastated by that loss,
Mhm.
disillusioned, angry, cynical, all of those feelings until, do you think that you come to a point where you think, we just didn't know how to minister to each other? We just didn't know how to help each other through that,
It's the
right?
truth,
It's not
Sarah.
intentional necessarily.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think like they had never encountered this situation before, and they felt like, oh my gosh, we need to figure this out and we need to figure it out quickly.
Mhm.
And so I think that if they would have taken some time and maybe had talked to some experts, or if there was someone who could have come in and shared some things with them,
What we would have
it may have,
done, what
yeah,
we would have done. And even with the political climate,
yeah,
whenever I am able to speak to that situation, I think if these people making the decisions could just spend a day either in the private online Facebook group with moms with transgender children,
yeah,
or any of us really,
yeah.
um, I mean, if they could just spend some time talking with you, meeting your beautiful family,
Yeah.
then we wouldn't be having I don't believe we'd be having the problems like we're having now. So you ventured through Free Mom Hugs, you
Yeah.
found your tribe, you got educated, you were able to make your home a safe place, but you not only, like, that wasn't far enough, you took it even further and started in South Dakota, probably the very first clothing closet. Um, we have a place here called the Diversity Center, Susan, and they offer voice training, a clothing closet,
Wow.
every type, mental, spiritual, physical, everything that a need would person. I think how beautiful it would be to have a transgender person come into a space and be able to come in and then leave fully equipped and able to have a happy, healthy life. What a gift. What a gift you're giving. What's the, like, when you first started this, what were some of the challenges that you faced? Because I understand you made a really big hurdle here, and you made history in so many ways, but this one really counts. What were some of the challenges you faced it early on, and what took you through what I'm alluding to, the lawsuit,
Sure.
and how did that go?
Yeah. So, the political climate here has been pretty rough. Our anti-trans bills actually started in 2015, and
I
we were the
thought you were one of the
first,
first
yeah,
to be
first in the
female.
country. And so those anti-trans bills continued for the last 10 years. And so I think one of the challenges was that political climate. When my son was expressing some things and, he was diagnosed with gender dysphoria, I was at a point where it was 2016 and the bathroom bill was a huge deal in South Dakota during that year. And so I was seeing things online like Facebook, people talking about, like the bathroom ban, and they were like South Dakotans were saying violent and horrible things. And I was, just in that frame of mind of like, oh my gosh, like I don't want my kid to have to grow up like that. And maybe this will go away. Like maybe this, like I didn't know a whole lot about gender dysphoria when we first started discovering
Yeah, could we
this. And I
talk
was
about
like,
that for just a
yeah,
minute? Because I think it's
yeah.
fascinating in a way that I think really gives a person a look
Mhm.
into what a person is experiencing. Would you explain that to our followers?
For
Gender
sure.
dysphoria.
So when my kiddo was 9, um, they started to suffer from like anxiety and depression and angry outbursts and all these really hard things that hadn't been a part of their life before that. And so we decided to go in and get counseling, and our counselor, after some assessments, said, your child has gender dysphoria. And my response was, what is it and how do we fix it? How do we
Right,
get rid of it?
right.
And I'd never heard those words before. And so, it sent me on a journey of discovery and trying to get educated. And that was at the same time that this bathroom bill was in the legislature. So I was like reading things from experts and then seeing the way that trans people are treated in our
Yes.
state. And there was like a lot of like, oh my gosh, this is so scary as a parent that we might be going on this journey and that people are so awful. And so yeah, it's definitely, I've been on a journey, and I think
Sure.
anybody that is not educated in it, you definitely can read one thing from experts and then you can see another thing online for people that are completely politicizing this whole thing. And it's not a political thing, it's a human thing. It's
Yes,
been
yes.
around forever. There are so many written history documents that share about people that have been through this since the beginning of forever. So, yeah,
Yes. All right. Thank you
yeah,
for that. We're gonna.
of
I
course.
want to just challenge our followers to really learn about gender dysphoria and how it
Mhm.
affects these beautiful human beings. And then now let's get back to the. It's we see a lot of bad news around, but you recently had a victory with your organization. Just
Yeah.
tell us about that.
We did. So, about a year ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, our organization had gotten a grant from the state of South Dakota to develop a community health worker position. And that grant was actually federal funds, just kind of funneled through South Dakota. And when our governor found out that we had been given that grant by the state, She found out through a reporter. She said, well, we don't support that organization or what they're doing, and pulled the grant. And so, really, like, discrimination was all over that, but the state decided to say that it was my fault that we didn't get to keep the grant, that I hadn't fulfilled my contract, and I actually had. Yeah, we just were able to settle out of court, and it was a big win for us. That the state settled and actually sent us an apology letter. That's one thing that we really wanted, letting the trans community and the queer community in South Dakota, letting them know that, we're sorry that we treated you differently than everyone else. And so, yeah, it's been exciting.
You made national news with that one. I looked for the headlines, but I wasn't quick enough. But congratulations on that. I know it must have not been easy.
Right.
Because you're younger than me, but we were raised, my generation was raised never to question authority, never to talk about sex or money. So bravo to you, Mama.
Well, and even Sarah, I think we both, as women in the church and Christian women, the overarching theme was to be silent or to, defer to the men. And so really, when we decided to go for this lawsuit, I thought about all of those trans people in South Dakota who really needed someone to stand up for them and stand in the gap and really just be that person to say, nope, we're not going to let this happen here. And I was very happy to do it, but of course it's very scary, right?
Yeah, it can be intimidating, but don't you find that once you cross that threshold, that you just find your core strength, that you realize that lightning is not going to strike, and it allows you to take the next step further. And I just applaud you and admire and just so impressed with all that you've accomplished in a very short amount of time. And I just wish I had just one little ounce of your tenacity and dedication, which I know
you do, Sarah.
I know. But what you've accomplished in South Dakota, because you really were on the front lines before the front lines just went across the country.
Yeah.
Now, what advice would you give to moms, especially moms with transgender children, whether they're 7 or 77?
Yes. I would say reach out for support from other moms. Free mom hugs. There are lots of moms there that have trans kids. Lots of moms everywhere that have trans kids. So reach out for support. It's always nice to have somebody to talk to. I remember when I first was going through this, I didn't know anybody, and it wasn't like people were publicly like saying in 2017, like, I have a trans kid who wants to hang out at the park, like. So I actually read a book and reached out to the author, and I didn't expect a response, but it was so amazing to just have somebody. She did respond. We've become close friends, and just having somebody to talk to and really, support each other and help support our kids, and reach out to get involved in a Facebook group or go to our website and find resources that you might need, read books, listen to podcasts.
Yeah, now the resources,
there's so many.
I tell people all the time, there's so many resources out there, no matter where you stand, historically, scientifically, scripturally. The real choice is to remain in fear and ignorance. Now, why don't you just give your website? How can people reach out to you? How can they find you? And what do you need? How can we help you?
Thank you, Sarah. This has been so great to chat with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I wish you were across the table.
I know. Maybe someday.
Yes, I hope so. But yeah, how can we find you? What resources do you have? And what do you need the most?
Yeah, you can find us on any of the socials. Check us out here or Facebook. We also have a website. It's transformationprojectsd.org. And we have tons of resources there, even as far as like what books would be helpful. And yeah, we're here if you have questions or need help finding somebody in your state that would be able to help you through this and support your kiddo. And for trans people themselves, we have a lot of resources as well. So we're happy to help in any way.
Yeah, now you are a nonprofit,
Mhm.
501c3,
Yep.
and so you need funding.
Right.
Everybody does. And so, are you looking to expand? You are?
We definitely are. Yes, we definitely are. We expanded to, open our center this year, and hopefully in the future we can expand to other states as well. But yeah, definitely funding, just like, at Free Mom Hugs, it's always a need, and there's so many more people out there that we could help if we had more funding. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, I just thought of something, and you don't have to answer it if it's
Yeah,
too
of course.
much, but your beautiful child, how old are they now?
Yeah, he's 17.
Okay.
He's doing amazing as far as like, he's lived his authentic self for 7 years now, and I'm so proud of
What is,
him and how he's grown.
yeah, what does he think about all this?
Oh, he's a big fan. If it weren't for him, I never would have done this. And
Right.
so I am just so thankful that he is able to be who he was meant to be. And, through this process, I've become who I'm supposed to be, right? And I know you feel that way too.
Yeah.
We're so much better off for having these kiddos
Who would have ever thought?
who are living authentically. Because I don't know if I would have ever taken this on. I'm sure I wouldn't have, so very proud of him.
Yeah. Well, we're proud of you, your beautiful family,
Thank
and
you.
I love your mission. If I didn't say it before, I want to say it now. But your
Yeah.
mission is to support and empower transgender individuals and their families while educating communities in South Dakota and the surrounding region about gender identity and expression. I was in my 40s, Susan, before I understood the difference between gender identity and sexual orientation.
For sure.
You talk about an eye-opening experience. And also, I remember being on tour. We were in Topeka, Kansas, and it was a unscheduled stop. We found out about a place called Serendipity Doodah, so of course I had to stop. And so we made a quick event out of it, and not knowing if anyone would be there, but there turned out to be 3 parents there, 3 mothers with their small children. And here they were in a little cafe called Serendipity Doodah Cafe in Topeka, Kansas, thinking they were the only mom in Topeka with an LGBTQ kid. And here they had each other. Now, they started a clothing closet there in the basement of a church. And so it just gives validation to what you're doing, to the power of being empowered by moms learn from other moms. So I'm so thankful for the work that you're doing. If we can ever be of any help or service to you, please let us know. And the world really, really, truly is a better place because of the work that you're doing. You're saving lives, no doubt, and you're making history. And I couldn't be more proud.
Thank you so much. Ditto to you, and happy International Women's Day,
You're
Sarah.
welcome, honey. We need champions to support your efforts. Give them the website again.
Transformationprojectsd.org.
Yes, go there, be a champion of their organization, and just light the world on fire. Let's give each other a hug and we'll check out.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye, Mama. Proud of you.
You too.
Let's see.